That was easily the longest 5 minutes that I've had to wait for a stream to start, I swear. All right, here we go. Shall we get into this? I think we shall. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, we're skipping that. Greetings and salutations, everybody. My name is Kiorkof, and welcome to my YouTube channel. We will be live streaming today for the next hour, talking about all things fantasy football related, of course. If you guys want your questions answered, go into the comment section right here in the chat, in the live chat, and let me know. What do you guys want to know? I'll go ahead and try to answer as many questions as I possibly can today. And to the best of my knowledge, give you the most accurate potential representation of what can potentially happen this season in our 2021 fantasy football seasons. Okay, anyway, first and foremost, thank you everybody for joining us this afternoon on a Friday night. For some of you, it is 6 p.m. like it is me, and for some of you, it's later. Regardless, make sure you click that like button. I do appreciate your guys' support. Let's get into this, shall we? All right. So what kind of questions are we seeing right now? I got to actually make sure my audio works, because last time there was a little bit of an audio bug. Let me just confirm that this is, decent. All right, we're fine. Just had to make sure. Hey guys, how's it going? All right. What do we got here? Happy Friday, everyone. That's correct, George. Absolutely. Should I stash Joshua Kelly or Roundtree? No, I wouldn't. I think Justin Jackson's probably the RB2 on that team, specifically. And Austin Eckler, obviously, is going to be the number one in terms of total snaps and opportunities. Lockett or Thielen, says Ethan. To be honest, at this current moment in time, I'm probably leaning in the direction of Tyler Lockett. I know he has a lot of volatility, but I think this upcoming season, Thielen will most likely have just as much, if not more, volatility based on the dependency for touchdowns that he had last season. So I'll go Lockett there. I think he'll improve in terms of the amount of, opportunities he gets and how much on those opportunities does he actually deliver. Terry McLaurin or CeeDee Lamb in a full PPR, says MJK. To be honest, at this current moment in time, in a full PPR scoring format, I think they're very close to each other in terms of my rankings, but I'd probably still rather go Terry McLaurin, similar to my half PPR. I think he's just going to, in comparison to CeeDee Lamb, who still has Amari Cooper, Zeke, Gallup, Jarwin, Schultz in that offense, Terry McLaurin is probably going to be the go-to guy in this offense. He still has like Logan Thomas, Curtis Samuel, Adam Humphries, and the running backs, but he is far and away their most valuable and threatening offensive target. So I think Fitzpatrick funnel targets him, just like he did with Devontae Parker back in 2019. Kenneth Gainwell intriguing. It depends on what you expect this Philadelphia Eagles offense to look like. If Miles Sanders or Boston Scott aren't able to pull the load, then there's a potential, but they still have Jordan Howard in that backfield. There's so many guys rotating in there. It's just, maybe if you're playing a deep enough league and you want to take a flyer on them, I think that might be an okay pickup, but as of right now, it still is, a guy that's probably fourth in terms of the depth chart there at the position. Ridley in the fourth or Montgomery in the eighth. Keeper league, full PPR. Lank Dog, I'm going to be honest. Between those two options, I would much rather have Ridley in the fourth. Typically, you're never going to get Ridley outside of the first 2 rounds. And in a full PPR league, with Montgomery losing a lot of his potential receptions this upcoming season, with the presence of Damian Williams and Tariq Cohen, I'm going to go Ridley there. I think that's a great 4th round value in a keeper league, and you potentially can't even keep him next year. But it just depends. I'm still going to go Ridley because we want to win now. We don't want to look towards, too far into the future, because Tariq Cohen, I think last offseason, he signed a 4-year deal. He's not going anywhere. So Montgomery's going to have a tough time catching balls very often. Let's see here. Second pick in a 12-team league. What advice do you have on the turn? Personally, Kirk Conkle, which, of course, a very familiar name. You've been in the channel. Appreciate the support. If you're the second pick, you're probably going Dalvin Cook. When it comes back in the second round, I think you probably add someone like hopefully, we'll see. There's a lot of variables in fantasy football. I can't 100% predict how the draft is going to go. There's a lot of different people in your league. They might have favorite players. Regardless, if it comes back in the second round and there's a very good running back that is in that top 12 category, I don't mind double stacking running backs. Otherwise, you can go ahead and accompany Dalvin Cook on your roster with the talents of a DK Metcalf, maybe a Justin Jefferson if they fall to you in that second round. Then as the turn goes into the third round, maybe pick up a Darren Waller. I think that's a great start with the third or the second overall pick. Excuse me. Let's see what else we got here. Bill Gates has a question. Andrew, does your Patreon have overall rankings? RB, wide receiver, tight? Yes. In one list, it does. I have flex rankings. As of right now, they're currently only top 100 in my draft guide, but that's going to expand as the weeks go on. I've already planned on and I've been working on my top 150 flex rankings. It's just a matter of how much exposure I see of players in the preseason, injuries, trying to keep up to date on that. There's a lot of information that isn't being given to the public, so I'm trying to at least do my due diligence and do my research there before I can commit to things like that. But yeah, that's certainly going to expand going forward. Bill Gates, while you went ahead and did me the favor there, let's go ahead and plug that my 2021 Fantasy Football Draft Guide is now available on Patreon. I'll go ahead and leave that there going forward. What do you think about CEH? Eclipse, I think he's a good running back. He certainly has upside. To start the 2020 season, he was, all systems go, was healthy, was getting work out of the backfield, especially on the ground. A lot of people didn't expect him to get as many touches on the ground, yet he was able to handle those touches, produce, score touchdowns. It was great. Unfortunately, the injury, of course, bug hit him. Le'Veon Bell showed up, and that kind of spiraled his season out of control and really just kind of lost all of his value in a sense. But this upcoming season, they have Jerick McKinnon, they have Darrell Williams, but I think it's going to be his job to keep and his potential of getting into that top 12 category at the running back position. I don't mind him as a second round pick. Renee sent in a donation. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Says, greetings and salutations from Puerto Rico. Okay. Thank you very much. Are you planning on doing an auction draft tutorial? If not, any good advice? I love your content. Appreciate it, Renee. Okay. So really quickly, I haven't ran an auction draft since 2014. So I'm not very accustomed to what exactly is going on in such a league, but this is my only advice that I can give you. When you're playing in an auction league, you have to remember that you're trying to construct the best possible roster. So don't fall in love with the player too much. Don't overinvest because you still have to fill out your entire lineup. Another piece of advice I have is when it's your turn to suggest a player, like to nominate a player to be bid on, nominate someone that you know is going to cost a lot that you don't want. Throw them out there so that the other league mates that you're playing with are going to bid on them, buy them, and then by the time that the player you want comes around, they will have less capital to spend on said player and potentially will give you an opportunity to draft them and get them on roster. But again, it's about building a roster more than anything, so you got to make sure you go ahead and do that. Let's see here. Chase sent in a donation as well. Thank you very much, sir. Says 10-man PPR keeper league. Very well. Going to keep Devontae in the 1.05 spot. Okay, sounds good. Who should I snag at my 2.06? Do you think Austin Eckler or Aaron Jones? In a full PPR, I'll take Austin Eckler. Aaron Jones is safer between the two because, again, he has been, at least in a half PPR off the top of my head, I know this. In the past 2 seasons, he's been the number 2 and the number 5 overall running back. So his safety of production is there, considering the fact that he has scored, I think he scored only less than Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry in terms of total touchdowns in the past 2 seasons. Some statistic like that. His touchdown numbers have been great. But in a full PPR, I think I'm still leaning Eckler because I think his upside for potentially 80, 90 catches is very viable. But if you're looking for safety, you could double up on both Green Bay Packers and go at Aaron Jones. I don't think it's a problem there. But for right now, in my thought process, I go Eckler. Okay, let's see here. Appreciate the donation, guys. Again, if you want all of your 2021 fantasy football questions answered, you can go by the Patreon. Go check that out. I believe it's in the description of the video. I can confirm that in a moment. I just have to... Where is my description on this thing? I got to confirm this. Yeah, it is down there. Okay, so check that out if you guys are interested in any of those perks. Oh, I see Alfredo in the chat. My boy, how you doing? Says Eckler, Aaron Jones, or Gibson. I believe Eckler will finish top 5. In a full PPR, there's a potential there, certainly, especially if Saquon's not, up to his full potential this upcoming season in terms of his health and his offensive line being terrible. Eckler gets a lot of bonuses, man. I think Justin Herbert is a huge contributor to his potential success this season, on top of the fact that they went and got Slater in the first round of the draft. They brought in Lindley, the center, all pro from the Green Bay Packers. I think this offense is far more up to task in order to kind of give him the opportunities he needs to succeed this season. Let's see here. Terry sends in a question, says, half PPR, best ad, Gio, Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's the third or fourth string running back on that Patriots backfield. Nyheim Hines or Gronk. Okay, so I'm not too interested in anybody other than Nyheim Hines. The Gronk ad would only be if your tight end is already someone that's inconsistent and you're looking for someone to at least maybe plug in and hope he scores a touchdown. But Giovanni Bernard, Leonard Fournette is just as capable of receiving back, on top of the fact that offense has a lot of receiving options already. So that's just, until I see it with my own two eyes, I don't know how much usage we'll see out of Giovanni Bernard. I think Sony Michel, James White, and of course Damian Harris are going to be this, the main trio of that offense. Ramondre Stevenson is going to get, reps, but in comparison to both those guys, I will take Nyheim Hines for now. I think he's far more in line to get the most overall touches and opportunities in that offense, and then of course is in a position where if in fact something was to happen to Taylor, I know Marlon Mack would step in, but Nyheim Hines would still get a little bit of a boost there. How do you feel about Chase Edmonds this season? After I just saw James Conner come out after being injured with a toe injury. Again, James Conner had toe surgery this offseason. I think he was dealing with turf toe after that car accident that he had. After I saw him come out and run one rush for -1 yards, I'm beginning to feel like it's Chase Edmonds' season. Slowly but surely, it's getting there. Let's see here. Andrew, avoid Zeke in the fifth. Wait. Andrew, you avoid Zeke in the 5th spot? ? No. Bill Gates, no. I'm taking Zeke there at number 5 in the first round. Sure, 100%. Is Swift a good RB2? I think he's a fantastic RB2. Franklin. The fact of the matter is, in the offense that he's associated with the offensive coordinator there, which is the former head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, Anthony Lynn. He used to be the running backs coach for the Buffalo Bills. Again, he has a pedigree of wanting to feed his running backs the ball, respectively. Going back in time to when the Buffalo Bills had LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy was a top 12 running back under the tutelage of course, Anthony Lynn. Then he goes over to the Chargers. He ends up making Melvin Gordon a top 12 running back. Then, of course, Austin Eckler as such. And then we get into a situation, now he's with the Detroit Lions. You have DeAndre Swift, a capable 3-down back, which of course is great in the receiving game. He does have Jamal Williams there, who's going to take some touches. That is for certain. But I still think that DeAndre Swift is a viable second-round running back. Would I rather get him in the third? Of course. I'd rather get a better upside value on every prospect. But in some situations, if I'm sitting, at the back end of the second round, I already have solidified perhaps a McCaffrey, a Dalvin Cook, Kamara, Henry. I don't mind going ahead and accompanying that with another running back there and then going around in the third round and grabbing a tight end or wide receiver accordingly. Let's see here. Lank Dog says, if only I could borrow your brain for my draft. I mean, theoretically, I was going to say you can. You got to check out the Patreon, though. Let's see here. Thoughts on Brandon Cooks without Watson? Brandon Cooks has been a fantastic wide receiver his entire career. The unfortunate fact about Brandon Cooks' history is that he gets traded far too often. How many trades? He was with New Orleans, and he was traded to New England, then he was traded to the Rams, and then now he's been traded to the Houston Texans. It's an unfortunate thing. Tyrod Taylor with his number one wide receivers has never been great. He was able to give Sammy Watkins one good season back in Buffalo. I think it was 2016, 2015. So nothing promising. I would think that Davis Mills is most likely going to see a lot of time on that team if there's no Deshaun Watson. So am I confident in the potential of Brandon Cooks? Maybe he puts up like a couple good games this season, but otherwise he's going to be an average wide receiver. I don't see them scoring that much. He's a good talent, but the quarterback that's associated with him isn't the greatest. Now, if he's going to get 120 targets, he'll end up being, like a low-end wide receiver too. But he's got to see that much volume. And I don't know if we'll see that. Again, especially with Tyrod Taylor being a mobile quarterback, he's more likely to kind of put his head down and try to run. It's just tough. Highlight says, mock draft again tonight with subs. I don't know. It just depends. I have a hard out at 7 o'clock, so it just depends. And then last time that we did it, I was very distracted by the chat in itself. So there was just it was too much to handle. So I don't know. We'll see. Chase says, same guy who's keeping Devontae. Yeah, don't worry. I remember Chase. At the 1.5, if Eckler and Jones aren't available at the 2.6, should I try to snag? Who should I try to snag? To be honest, again, there's a lot of variables in fantasy football, but if you're keeping Devontae Adams in the first, which again, at number 5 in a full PPR is perfectly fine, you have to grab a running back in the second round, because by the time the third round comes around, you are going to be in trouble because your best running back options will be Chris Carson as your RB1. And maybe that can pan out, but I don't want to put my entire league on that one selection. I'd rather go ahead and solidify an RB2 a low end RB1, upside RB2 in the second round. I don't know who's going to be there. It just depends, because at the 2.6, maybe Clyde, maybe Mixon, maybe Antonio Gibson. I'm fine with those guys at that point. It's Rel Time says, hello, Bearded one. Long time no talk. Thank you very much. I need a keeper for... I'm sorry, what is this? I need a keeper from last year. Okay, sounds good. Half PPR, Ridley in the third, McLaurin in the fifth. Okay. The whole question that immediately comes in my mind is, if in fact you keep Ridley in the third, the following season, where do you keep him? Can you keep him in the same position, or does his value go up? So if you kept Ridley in the third this year, therefore next year he has to be a first round keeper. If you want, you don't even have to donate. Just again, you guys don't have to donate at all. I know you want to get your questions answered, but hey, if you want all of your 2021 fantasy football questions answered, just check out the Patreon. The bottom tier, $10. I'll literally sit there for an hour answering all the questions you got. I mean, that's literally to my word. But anyway, let me know real time in the comment section. Just how does the setting work in your league? Because as of right now, I don't mind keeping Ridley in the third, but McLaurin might not be a bad option there. Let's hear. Ankit says, trade DJ Moore and Edmonds for Najee Harris. Yes, right now, do it. Hurry up now. I'm not kidding. Do it now. Fire it. Right now. I don't even want to read the rest of your roster. You said you have Ridley, Julio, OBJ, Ayuk as your wide receivers. You have Christian McCaffrey, Henderson, Edmonds as your running backs, and a 10-team PPR. Right now, Ankit, right now, let's not waste time. Accept the deal. Trade away DJ Moore and Edmonds and get Najee Harris. What are we waiting for? Come on. Okay, anyway, let's get into this chat real quick. When should I draft Mahomes? Byron, that's a great question. Honestly, I don't mind drafting him in the late third, but in the fourth round, I think it's safe there. I doubt he's going to be available at that point, but if you're a Mahomes fan, then you got to grab him in the third, because if you don't, he's probably going to be gone. Is Josh Jacobs better than Ronald Jones for fantasy? Absolutely. It's not even close. Josh Jacobs will see far more opportunities, whether it's on the ground, through the air, and on the goal line. And that is the biggest question about value in fantasy football. Who is given the most opportunities? The only way you can score more points is if you have more opportunities, or unless you're extremely efficient with the opportunities you're given. Ronald Jones was extremely efficient last year, but now you include Giovanni Bernard into this offense. It'll have Leonard Fournette fully healthy potentially this year. It's a little tough there. So, yeah, I would say Josh Jacobs certainly more valuable there, Mark. Let's see here. Harry Hippo says, in the 12th pick in a standard league, 12-team league, I'm doing mock drafts, and I think the options at running back will have Najee Harris, Eckler, Mixon, Gibson, and CH. Who should I take? If you're at the 12th pick and you're going to go double running back there, and those are the available options, I honestly really like the idea of going Harris and Gibson in a standard league. So there's no points for receptions. At that point, I'm looking for yardage gained and touchdowns, and I think those are the best options at that point. Swag Master says, would you rather have Henderson, so Darrell Henderson, with an easy schedule, or Swift with a hard schedule? Well, look, here's the thing. I think regardless of quote-unquote schedule, we'll talk about that next week. Monday begins our strength of schedule episodes. The Monday episode will be running back, so we're going to have all of that covered. But the Lions in general are going to be bad anyway, so they're going to be in negative game scripts. So I'm not really worried about the quote-unquote schedule. I think DeAndre Swift could very easily catch 60, maybe 70 passes this year. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's going to be bad for them. So they're going to have to throw a lot. But I think 70 is a little much. I kind of got a little away from myself. But 60 receptions aren't out of the realm of possibility based on the negative game scripts they're going to be in. And between the two, depends what scoring format you're in. Because if you're in a full PPR, I think I'd rather take the Swift option. Let's see here. Jonathan Day says, what are your thoughts on Dobbins? I can see him getting majority of the vacated Mark Ingram carries and breaking out, being slept on. Okay, so about the vacated quote-unquote Mark Ingram carries. Last season from weeks, I think it was 10 through 17, he was the starting running back of the team. With that said, he was averaging, I think, like 15, not even 15, maybe 14 touches per game. And very seldom was he getting receptions. He did score touchdowns in 6 consecutive games, which gave him that fantasy value. But if, J.K. Dobbins doesn't score those touchdowns in a given week, he's an 80-yard running back, maybe catches the ball once. So at his base floor, he's a 10-point running back. If he scores a touchdown, he gets that 16-point mark. If he gets lucky and is involved in the screen pass game, he gets like 12 and a half. But that's his range, right? 10, 12 and a half, potential upside 16 to 22 points if he scores multiple touchdowns. So in terms of what do I expect, I think it's very possible that he picks up the quote-unquote vacant attempts, but it's not like Mark Ingram had a lot of attempts back in 2019. The reason why Mark Ingram had value in 2019 is because he scored 15 touchdowns. Like, that is the biggest difference. He had 10 on the ground, 5 through the air. I think he only had 200 total rushing attempts, which, again, is probably what J.K. Dobbins is going to see. He's going to need to continue his 6-yard per carry average in order to make those 200 potential attempts worth it for us as fantasy managers. What's your thoughts on Tannehill this year? Can he potentially be top 5? No, not top 5. I mean, he's going to be great. Don't get me wrong. Let's make this clear. He's going to be a great quarterback. When you add Julio Jones into that offense, the fact that, just a statistic off the top of my head, Ryan Tannehill, since taking the job, week 7 of the 2019 season, Marcus Mariota, the game prior against Denver, was throwing interceptions. They brought in Tannehill. Anyway, the following week against the Chargers, he took the starting job. From that week on, week 7 till now, I think it's a 26 game span. He's been the number 3 overall quarterback in fantasy point total, only behind Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. So, Tannehill has been a very good quarterback. I think he finishes the number 7 overall quarterback in fantasy last season, has had, I think, 11 total rushing touchdowns in the last 26 games. He's a great quarterback. You add Julio, he gets better. But is he going to be top 5 status? No. He's back into the QB1 conversation. Let's see here. Thoughts on Terry McLaurin this year? Should be fantastic. I see him as a top 12 wide receiver, mainly because Fitzpatrick is associated with him. Had a couple donations come in, gotta check those out. Let's see here. Masenko says, thank you for the donation, by the way. Says full PPR, 10-man league. Okay, very good. I have McCaffrey, Eckler, CEH, but my wide receivers, what do you mean, but my wide receivers? You have Woods and Claypool. That's great. As long as Claypool's healthy. I saw him getting helped off the field the other day due to an injury. And you have Chark as your third wide receiver. That's fine. I mean, your running backs are going to carry your team regardless. We'll continue. Should I trade for stronger wide receivers? But, okay, here's the issue. If you want to trade for a stronger wide receiver, you're going to have to give one of your stud running backs. Now, if you want to go ahead and trade Clyde Edwards-Helaire and try to go upgrade at the wide receiver position, you certainly can. But what is going to fill Clyde Edwards' spot? Like, he's probably going to be your flex the whole season. You'll have McCaffrey and Eckler as your 1 and 2, Clyde as your flex, and then Woods and Claypool as your number 1 and 2 wide receiver. I think the likelihood of you picking up a running back off of the waivers that are going to help you win games this season is far less likely than you picking up a wide receiver that helps you win this season. Again, Claypool is a guy, Jefferson, these are wide receivers that were rookies last season that came out of nowhere. There's far more chances for that to occur than you hoping for a running back injury or something like that to fill in. So as of right now, you can certainly try, but I think you're pretty solid with what you have as of right now. Q Crew sends in a donation. Thank you very much, sir. Says, Kelce or Kittle in the first round? Sorry, Kelce or Hill. I don't know why I went with Kittle, because I saw the 49ers logo you had and immediately thought of Kittle. Between the two of them, depends on what selection you are. What I mean by that is if I'm sitting at the back end of the first round and I know for certain I can make the selection of Kelce and get a running back right after, I think I'm more inclined to do that. I think I'm more inclined to do that. Just slightly more inclined. So I prefer going Kelce, getting my running back a choice in the third round, maybe address running back again, wide receiver in the fourth and fifth, quarterback in the sixth, keep it moving. Michael had a question, says, what week does Devontae Williams take the RB1 spot from Gordon? Michael, if I had the answer to that, I swear I would put all my money in my bank account on that. But I don't have the answer. The question is, how long until this team realizes that Devontae Williams... Sorry, Devontae? You mean Javonte, right? Why'd you put Dev? You got me all messed up now. The real question is, how long until they realize that he's more talented than Melvin Gordon at this current state, right? Because Melvin Gordon's getting older. Or how long does it take the Gordon to get hurt? Those are two questions that I don't have the answer to. I have no clue. But if I could find the answer, trust me, I would tell you all. And then I'd, of course, go to Vegas and put all my money on. Keep it moving. DJ622 says, "Sup, big dog? Going to any Rams games this year?" You know, the issue with going to Rams games this year is, if in fact I was to do so, it would have to be a night game, because on Sunday mornings, I'm here. Okay? On Monday nights, I'm getting ready for the running back episode the next day. On Thursdays, if they play a Thursday game, I'm here. You know, like it's just tough with my schedule. I would want to. I have seen that the Chargers play the Chiefs in week 14 this season. It's like way down the line, so I might be able to like potentially go to that one, but we'll see. Appreciate the donation. All right, so AP916 says, AK, in my leagues with the flex spot, how do you feel about doubling up on 2 top 5 tight ends, Waller, Hawkinson, Kittle, Andrews? I'm okay with it, but I don't love it. The thing is, like, 2 of the top 5 tight ends, theoretically, right? Last season, Kittle had in a half PPR 240 points. Waller had 225. Okay, great. One guy's averaging 14 points, one averaging 12 and a half. The issue is I'd much rather, because as soon as like we get to Mark Andrews and Hawkinson, the numbers are going to take a little bit of a dip. They're only going to be averaging like 10 and a half, 11 and a half points per game in comparison. So the issue becomes, am I willing to start an 11 and a half point tight end instead of going after a 5th round wide receiver that could put up 13 points per game? That's the issue. I don't think it's worth it. The only reason you ever want to draft a tight end early is to have an advantage on the rest of your league based on the drop-off in production from in-comparison values. Like, I'm grabbing Kelce in the first because I know he's going to put up as many points as Nick Chubb potentially, and in comparison to every other tight end selection in this league, I have a 60-plus point advantage, except for against like Kittle and Waller. Let's see here. Aaron Orozco, thank you for the donation, says, 11th pick, PPR. I'll probably take Adams or Hill. Sounds good. Which running backs, with most running backs off the board, if I can get Gibson as my RB1, what's your thoughts? I don't mind Gibson there. Between Gibson, Mixon, Najee Harris, Eckler. I mean, I obviously want Eckler in a full PPR. I'm sure you're aware of that. I don't mind Gibson. I think he's going to get himself a good amount of work in the passing game. I don't think we'll see as much of an abundance of targets going in the direction of J.D. McKissick. Again, McKissick had a lot of targets because of the fact that Gibson went down with an injury, had that game where he had 10 receptions against Pittsburgh. That kind of inflated his overall numbers, and the quarterback play there was very seldom on just trying to throw it deep because they didn't really have the arm strength. They just wanted to dump it off and try to let their defense win games. But anyway, I don't mind Gibson at all as your RB1. Ryan sends in a donation, just says, absolute unit. All right, my guy. I appreciate that. Thanks, bro. Armin, Hopper, how are you? Hopper, John. Okay, so let's see here. Armin says, 6th pick in a full PPR 10-man league. If Zeke and the other top running backs are gone, Would you go Jones, Eckler, Adams, or Chubb? In a full PPR, I'm either going Eckler or Adams. I need reception upside. Chubb is not even in the conversation. I think Jones, Eckler, and Adams are. Jones is, I was going to say Jones is the safest pick. Jones is the safest pick because you get a solidified running back there. Adams is the best overall pick because he's going to probably produce the most points. But I think Eckler has the biggest upside of the bunch, and you're not only filling that running back need, but you're also getting the potential upside of what he's capable of in the passing game. So I'm going Eckler in that point, unless you think you can get a running back in the second round at the 6th pick. And if you want to start Adams and get Mixon as your RB2, or maybe Clyde or Antonio Gibson, that's fine. I'm okay with that. You just have to be comfortable with the idea that you're going to have to address running back soon thereafter in the 3rd or maybe 4th round, with respective guys that can at least catch the ball a little bit. Andrew Achberes. Thank you, Chris. Oh, goodness. Let's see here. Justin Sims says, what are your thoughts on drafting a second quarterback in a 12-team league? Justin, it depends on what exactly you're looking for. Are you trying to get Trey Lance? Are you trying to get Justin Fields? If that's the case, you got to do that in the double-digit rounds. I wouldn't mind investing in a quarterback of that caliber if, in fact, I've waited. I don't want to go ahead and invest early in a Patrick Mahomes and then follow that up with a second quarterback relatively early. That's just, it kills the purpose, right? Because when you draft a stud quarterback, you expect them to play every single week except for their bye week. Now, if in fact you're going to take the discounted quarterback, wait until the double-digit rounds. Hopefully, a quarterback of the caliber of a Ryan Tannehill, Matt Ryan are going to be there. You can go ahead and pair them up with a Trey Lance, Justin Fields in the double-digit rounds and get your second quarterback. Otherwise, very seldom do I want to proactively go after my second quarterback when my solidified QB1 is the guy that's never going to come off the field for me, or never come out of my lineup, come off the field for me. I'm talking like a coach all over again. Kyle Willis says, at the 2-3 turn, should I draft Waller or Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or Waller and Justin Jefferson in a full PPR? So I'm assuming at the 2-3 turn, you either have one of the top 2 or 3 picks. Personally, and it depends. Oh, you said full PPR, yeah. I'm very comfortable going with the wide receiver and tight end there. I think Jefferson provides a lot of potential this upcoming season. I mean, when we take into account that he didn't even play the first 2 games of the season, still finished with 1,400 receiving yards, like, it's only going up there. And then the touchdown counts, I talked about it with Thielen the other day, like the Adam Thielen red zone target affair that was kind of broken off. Like, I think Adam Thielen from the first 12 weeks of the season had like 62% of the red zone target share amongst wide receivers on that team. That number dipped to like 20% because here comes Justin Jefferson's momentum. So I don't mind going Jefferson there. I honestly like the idea of going Jefferson and Waller. The question is, where do you go with running back in the 4th/5th? I think maybe Travis Etienne in the 5th, a wide receiver in the 4th when it comes back down. Michael sends an innovation. Thank you very much. Says, love the content. We got the 10th pick in a full PPR. Sounds good. We go 3 wide receivers. It's always worked for us. What rookie running backs? Wait, what? What do you mean it's always worked for you? 10th pick in a full PPR, you go triple wide receivers? Hey, okay. You know what? To each their own. Very well. Your whole question was, what rookie running backs do you like? Trey Sermon, Javonte Williams, Michael Carter. Which ones do I like? Travis Etienne needs to be thrown into that list. I mean, at this point, right, if you're going to start triple RB, in the 4th round, you should just take Etienne. In the 5th round, you should just take, Javonte Williams. Just start taking up all of the rookie running backs. I'm just kidding. But in all honesty, between those 3, it's really sketchy. I think between the 3 of them, who's most likely to get immediate work, I think it's probably Trey Sermon. When I looked at how much work that Jerick McKinnon got at the beginning of the 2020 season, it just leads me to believe that there's probably room for Trey Sermon to be in that rotation relatively early. So that's what I'd for sure say is a great pick, but I don't think you have to even take him early. Let's see here. All right, Varial says, should I be worried about being thin at QB? What do you mean? 10-team PPR. My starter, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Zeke, D-Hop, McLaurin, Hawkinson, Fitz. Wait, I don't understand this concept of Jalen Hurts being thin at QB. No shot, right? There's no way that we believe that. Jalen Hurts is a stud. Don't get it twisted. I think last season okay, so these are stats off the top of my head. You can fact check me. I'm relatively certain that I'm correct. He played 16 and a half quarters as a starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. In that time, in those 16 and a half quarters that he played, he was averaging, if you expanded it on a full game basis, he's averaging about 25 points per game in a 4-point per passing touchdown format. In that time, I think he had like 47 rushes for 240 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. He was averaging like 68 yards per game. If you expand 68 yards per game on a 17-game basis, the guy should surpass 1,000 rushing yards, be the third quarterback all time to do it. Theoretically, right? And you increase his touchdown count to at least 7 rushing touchdowns. So let's say, for example, that's 142 points. Assuming Jalen Hurts stays healthy and continues on his running streak. That's 142 points. So to be a top 5 quarterback, what does he need? The guy needs like 230 points in passing stats. So what is that? He not accompanying interceptions. He needs like 25 touchdowns, 3,000 yards. It's doable, but is he that guy? I don't think he's that guy, pal. He's not that level just yet, but I don't think he's pretty good. He's going to score points. Anyway, I just went on a mathematical tear right there. Thanks for the question. I think your lineup is stacked. Let's just put it that way, okay? When you have Zeke, Hopkins, Saquon, McLaurin, Hawkinson, and Fitz on the wire, I don't care about Fitz. If you want to pick him up, you certainly can. I think Jalen Hurts in a 4-point per passing touchdown format gives you the best chance of winning. AP says, how do you have Zeke, Saquon, and Hopkins? It's because he plays in a 10-team league. And probably Saquon fell down the board because people aren't really looking to invest. They're worried about the injury, which I don't blame them. Dylan Hansen says, I'm desperate, man. All right, Dylan, I'm going to answer your question, buddy. I got you. If you're down bad, I got you, my guy. All right, I got the 6th pick in a 10-man league. My options are Saquon, Zeke, Devontae Adams, and Chubb. I'm going Zeke, no questions asked. I'm locking him in with confidence. But at the 6th pick, the fact that you think you'll get Zeke is unlikely. So I'll go ahead and give you a contingency. If, in fact, the first 5 picks of the draft, which they should be, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Kamara, Henry, and Zeke, those should all be gone. You should theoretically be between Adams, Chubb, and Saquon. And at that point, I'm probably going Eckler or Adams. So just give you an extra step there. Harry Hippo says, I know one person in my league that really likes Najee Harris, and he might take him early. Okay. So at the 12th pick and 13th pick at the end of the first, should I have Gibson, Mixon, and Eckler available? Which am I to take in a standard league? In a standard league, I'm going Mixon and Gibson. Austin Eckler does not provide enough upside because he's not scoring as much touchdown, not getting as much work on the ground. Though the receptions and the receiving yards are there, he's not being, of course, he's not benefiting statistically from those receptions. So I go with Mixon and Gibson there, Harry. Okay, no problem. What do we got here? A-Rob or McLaurin says BD. I mean, in terms of overall consistency of play, A-Rob really holds that down. In my mind right now, I'd probably go A-Rob in a full PPR because of the volume of targets he's seen. Half PPR, I'd go McLaurin because I think the touchdown upside will be there in comparison. Let's see here. Zalugs says, yo, Andrew, curious. Is that CV Crescenta Valley? Yeah, it is. Yeah. How do you know? That's my question. Oh, man. Let's see here. Bill Gates says, Bill Gates, man, you're an active one, huh? Galladay or Jerry Jeudy? If I'm not mistaken, Kenny Galladay in the last 8 games that he's played healthy, full, he's had at least like 100 receiving yards or at least a touchdown in all of those games. Kenny Galladay's good. Daniel Jones is not. Jerry Jeudy's good. The Denver quarterbacks are, I don't want to like completely shun both of them away. Who has the most potential for upside? I would hope that it's Kenny Galladay. but he needs to have at least a decent quarterback. Do you think Mike Davis will run with the job in ATL? I'm assuming that's the case. That has been my preconceived notion of that backfield since he got signed. Excuse me there. Okay, cool. Henry or Kamara, please, in a full PPR. I will go with Kamara as of right now because I anticipate him to catch every ball in that offense. In a 2 QB league, 10 team, says Danny. Full PPR. You have the first pick. Very good. I think I'm going with Wait, what? 10 team. Got the first pick. Thinking about going Kelce. What do you think? Is that a smart move? No. Absolutely not. Your first pick. Are you number 1 overall pick, or you're just saying you with your first pick? Because you said I got the first pick. If you have the number 1 overall selection, if you don't pick Christian McCaffrey, then you're asking to lose the league, especially in a full PPR, my guy. You have to go McCaffrey in the first. When it comes back into the third round, you should probably either go. You need to address a quarterback. So I have a video. I posted it a couple weeks ago. Go watch it. It's Superflex draft strategy video. It has Justin Herbert on the cover. I think I drafted him the number 1 overall position in that league. Go watch that. It'll give you more context as to what I'm talking about. But you certainly want to draft McCaffrey. He's better than every quarterback in a 4 point per passing touchdown league, Superflex league, in terms of total points per week. Matthew was asking, any idea how Gaskin will be? I mean, look, the issue with Gaskin is that we don't know if he's going to get majority of the touches in that offense. Opportunity leads to success in fantasy football, and unfortunately, with Malcolm Brown there and Salvin Ahmed getting a lot more work, I saw him working at practice, getting a lot of receptions. It seems to me that we're going to have a committee situation, which leads me to potentially just not even look in the direction of Myles Gaskin. At a specific price, I'm willing to grab any potential prospect, but where he's going currently, it's a little rough. Alfredo was saying, Big Drew, I'm a Chargers season ticket holder. You go that night, we gotta have a beer. Hey, listen, I'll let you know, Alfredo. I'll let you know. Let's hear. Dead Pulse says Dalvin Cook and Keenan Allen or Taylor and Claypool, full PPR. Dalvin Cook, Keenan Allen, not even close. 100 out of 100 times, I'm taking Dalvin Cook and Keenan Allen to the grave over Jonathan Taylor and Chase Claypool. 100 out of 100. I'll put my life on it. 100%. Those guys are they're different. They're just different. Let's see here. Who would you start in a full PP? Oh, okay. We're not doing start questions yet, okay? We're not even close. We're 3 weeks away to the beginning, okay? Come back to me in a couple weeks, okay? I'm still in draft mode. Okay, let me scroll down here. What is a fair price to pay for separately Mecole Hardman, or what is the fair price to pay for separately Mecole Hardman and Damian Harris? As in an auction league, K? Because in an auction league, I have very little experience. I was telling people earlier, I haven't drafted an auction league since like 2014. So in terms of price in that way in an auction league, I'm not certain. I'm just slurring words. I'm not certain. But in terms of where you should draft him in your respective normal draft, I think Damian Harris is a very good 8th round selection. Mecole Hardman maybe in the 10th, 11th. Roll Malone Music Entertainment LLC. What's up? Says Chuba Hubbard will be the handcuff in 2021 for if Christian McCaffrey goes down. 100%. Yes. If you're a Christian McCaffrey owner, you need to grab Chuba Hubbard in the 10th or 11th round. 100%. Michael Dobbs says, first pick in a 12-team league. Should I go wide receiver 1, a second round, followed by Waller, third round? Okay. First round with the running back, second round with the wide receiver 1, and then Waller in the third. And then address the third running back, assuming McCaffrey can carry. Yes. That's typically my thought process in a full PPR. Michael Dobbs. Okay, I'll get to the donations in a second. I got to talk about, so Luke was saying, I knew it was Crescenta Valley because I broke my arm playing against them in a high school basketball game. Used to play in tournaments all the time. Cool. Nice. So at least we know we live in a central region. We're close. Tron says, would you draft Kelce at the 6th pick in a 10-team league PPR snake? No. I mean, I don't mind it. But would I do it? it's too rich for my blood. If I was at the 9th pick, 10th pick, no problem. I can confidently do so because I know I'm gonna get the running back that I want coming back in the second round. When you draft Kelce at the in the middle of the first round, you have to hope that the running back that you want comes back to you, because if he doesn't and you're stuck with some underwhelming guys, it's gonna hurt too much. Tom Bomb 7 says, thanks. Your beard is beautiful. Is it? I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. So let's see here. A couple more questions. Again, my heart out, guys, is 7 o'clock. So I'm going to try to answer as many of your guys' questions. I had a couple donations come in really quickly. Got to address those. CP, thank you very much. Says, great stuff, Andrew. Looking forward to, someone just sneezed really loud in the house. Forward to another year of your insight. Question number 2. It says, question. 2 QB league. They go really early. Mahomes or McCaffrey 1.01. McCaffrey, not even close. Send it. Now, if you're talking about a 6-point per passing touchdown format, I could entertain the idea of going Patrick Mahomes in the first, because we're expecting 45 touchdowns, right? We're expecting that kind of a number. But even in that regard, I'm still going McCaffrey number 1. I'm going to wait till the second round. Typically, in the second round, I want to say the top 8 quarterbacks will be gone. That will give you an opportunity to grab a potential Tom Brady, Ryan Tannehill, maybe even somebody better. I don't know. It depends on how your league reacts. If one quarterback comes off early, are they all going to trickle in and just start grabbing QB? If that's the case, if it's similar to my league, you're going to have a discount at your QB position, but it's going to be because you're benefiting from Christian McCaffrey putting up in a full PPR like 30 points a week, every week. Ian Ward says, do you have another tier list for all positions? Will you do another tier list? I'm dyslexic, guys. My apologies. Yes, tier lists begins next week. After Monday begins the strength of schedule videos. Boom, 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 boom. 4 of them. The tier list videos will be coming out. I can assure you of that, Ian. Looking forward to it. Yes. Patrick Bateman says half PPR. Keeping Antonio Gibson in the 10th. Chef's kiss. That's beautiful. We love to see that. Thinking of going Eckler Hopkins on the turn. Reach for Kyler ? Or just grab receivers. In the first 2 rounds, going Eckler and Hopkins, fantastic. We'll take that. I mean, I don't know who's being kept in your league, but reach for Kyler as in the second round? No, we don't want to do that. If you're going to go for Kyler, you grab him in the 4th because you're waiting on the turn. So you would grab your running back and your wide receiver in the first 2, let it go back down, come back around. You grab maybe another wide receiver along with Kyler. At that point, I'm comfortable. And then in the 5th/6th, you go with a tight end maybe if Hawkinson's available. Accompany that with like a running back that may have upside this season, one of those rookies or a wide receiver, So yeah, I don't want to reach too far there. Two Sauce says BMW M3 or Supra. I don't know about cars, dude. I've never been a car guy. They just get me from point A to point B. That's how I look at them, to be honest. Oh, CP was saying 6 point per passing touchdown league. In that case, it's an intriguing potential. I don't mind going, Mahomes first, but it's so hard to not go McCaffrey there. It really is. He's just such a league winner. He does everything right. C-Mac or Kamara? Please pick. Tron, 100. Oh, never mind. You're adding somebody else. Sorry. I thought that was meant for me. I've been mistaken. At the 2-3 turn in an 8-team league, I haven't played an 8-team league in a while, but we'll see. Should I grab Najee Harris and Waller and stack 3 running backs? Like stack 3 RBs like Gibson, Najee, and grab an RB and a receiver? At the 2-3 turn. So you're the first overall pick is what you're saying. So if you're grabbing Christian McCaffrey and it's coming back, grab Najee Harris and Waller? Yes, that's what I would do. And then in the following rounds, go with double wide receivers. So you have 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 2 wide receivers by 5 rounds. Grab a quarterback in the 6th in conjunction with the best available running back or wide receiver, depending on who has the most value there. That's probably the play there. Fields or Lance? Lou, to be honest, I think it depends on who gets the starting job first. And how it looks right now, I don't know. I don't mind grabbing them and throwing them in the back of my bench. Between the 2 of them, They've shown glimpses of being great. Of course, I think Justin Fields had the better outing the other week in comparison to Trey Lance, who had 1 passing touchdown, but otherwise was 5 for 14 passing in the preseason. But again, his offensive line wasn't great. He was being pressured a lot. That's a different conversation. But between the both of them, I'm willing to flip the coin on one of them. The issue with quarterbacks of this caliber, we've never seen a quarterback finish in the top 12 rankings in a specific season unless they've played a full 16-game year. So if you're looking for the rookie quarterback that has the highest potential of being a top 12 guy, it's probably Trevor Lawrence. Because, again, the volume of opportunity he gets in total games. But I don't mind investing in Trey Lance, because if you guys haven't seen his strength of schedule, at the end of the year, when he probably will have a starting quarterback job, he's going to be torching teams. He's going to be torching them. Okay, what do you think about Elijah Moore as a sleeper wide receiver? Michael, that's not a bad option. The only issue I have is that Corey Davis is the number 1. Denzel Mims is no joke. He's still a talented wide receiver. They still have Jamison Crowder, who will probably play the slot position, which Elijah Moore is known to do. So he's going to really have to bring it for him to break through as a wide receiver, because they still have talent. As much as everyone wants to clown on the Jets, I think the new regime is going to definitely turn it around there a little bit. But he's going to have to break out. If you have a deep enough league, I don't mind grabbing him and holding and stashing there. Masenko says, how do you think McCaffrey will do versus the Bucs run defense? All right, let's go check something just really quickly, just so we're on the same page. The answer to that question, it's a loaded question. He's not going to do well against the run defense of the Buccaneers. No shot. He won't. But is he going to catch the ball 10 times? Yes. That's a given. Let's check this out. So let's look at the career games that he's had. Last season, okay, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 18 carries, 59 yards, still had 2 rushing touchdowns, 4 catches for 29 yards. Great. Ended up having a pretty good day, to say the very least. And in the year prior against Tampa Bay, 22 rushes for 31 total yards. Not great. Not great at all. I think that was a game in London, if I'm not mistaken. Still had a rushing touchdown. Still had himself 4 catches for 26 yards and a receiving touchdown, because he's the entire offense. All right, let's talk about the third to last time that he's played against this team. 16 rushes for 37 rushing yards. Terrible game, once again. So does he play well against Tampa Bay's run defense? Absolutely not. It's not a thing. But has he been able to score touchdowns against them nonetheless? Yes. That's the give and take. It is the toughest matchup on everyone's schedule, but he's a running back that regardless is going to walk right through it. Sean says, "What up, brother? How's it doing? How's it going? Who's the best late round tight end?" Irv Smith. But that's late. What do you think about Bryan Edwards? They invested a lot in Henry Ruggs, and they brought in John Brown. Not too convinced on Bryan Edwards, but I guess if you want to keep him in the 5th, or go after him in the 15th, I don't mind it. How many running backs do you try to draft? Drake, that's a good question. I want to at least have 5 or 6 on my roster, assuming your league doesn't have that stupid rule where it's like you can only have 4 or 5 of a position. That cap limit is just a joke. Nobody competitively playing fantasy football has that. So please tell your commissioners not to do that. You want to have at least 5 or 6 running backs on roster. Let's think about it in a standard roster. 16 players. If you have yourselves 5 running backs, 5 receivers, you have a tight end, a quarterback, that's 12. A kicker in the defense, that's 14. You have the ability to have potentially 1 extra wide receiver, running back, quarterback, or tight end. Let's say you take an extra quarterback and a tight end. That's 16 man. So 5-5, 2-2, 1-1, 16-team league. So 5 running backs, 5 wide receivers. That's like the standard. You could invest more if you think that there's potential upside somewhere else. Maybe handcuff. Or if you have the IR spot and you can grab a Michael Thomas late in your draft, throw him in the IR spot, fill another guy in, you just continue to add value. Question: I've been able to land Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce with the 12th and 13th picks. Would you consider that a reach in the draft and go RB in the 3rd and 4th? You can try that, Kendrick, but the question is, what running backs are you getting in the 3rd and 4th? If you're going to get at the back end of the 1st, the back end of the 3rd and 4th rounds, it's maybe you get Miles Sanders there. I don't mind that. It's just a matter of, is it going to pan out? They're great players. It's just the running backs are going to be the difference maker on your team. Like Kelce and Tyreek Hill, they're going to do their work. But if the running backs that you draft in the 3rd and 4th can't keep up to the wide receivers that other people are drafting in the 3rd or 4th, like if Miles Sanders can't keep up with the value of CeeDee Lamb in the 3rd round, then you're going to lose that league because they cannot keep up respectively. But we'll see. Michael sends in a question. Thank you very much. Says late round tight ends: Tonyan, Logan Thomas, Irv Smith. I don't think. Okay, so first and foremost, these are all top 12 guys, except for Irv Smith. I think I have him at my 13th ranked. Logan Thomas easily is a top. I think he's like my number 10 or 11 ranked tight end right now. Tonyan's like my number 12, and then Irv is my 13. So they're all in that same range. Are they going late? I don't think so. I think they go like 9th, 10th round, something like that. They're great options though. I like Logan Thomas. He's a stud. He can block, and then on top of it, he played the most snaps amongst all tight ends last season. He played 1,000 snaps, more than Travis Kelce, Waller, all of them. So he's staying on the field. Justin says Zeke is a bust now. I mean, Justin, how are you about to say that and then not provide any stats behind it? Because just go watch my running back rankings video. Every argument that you could potentially provide will be absolutely obliterated because, I mean, what did he do last year? No offensive line. Tyron Smith out. Zach Martin out. Lyle Collins out. Great. Dak Prescott was out. But prior to Dak leaving and the offensive line being shambles, the dude was averaging 21 fantasy points per game. How much more can you ask of him? So, dude, I'm telling you, I know you weren't trying to be like, but it was a question. But I'm telling you, Zeke is no longer a bust. I know he was terrible last year, but he's going to be good this year, guys. He's going to be good this year. All right, guys, I got 5 more minutes. Going to answer a couple questions, and then that's my heart out. I got to go and prepare for tomorrow's video, get everything ready according to that. If you guys haven't yet already, check out the Patreon. It's down in the description of the video if that's something you'd like. Again, my 2021 Fantasy Football Draft Guide is there. If you're trying to get all of my thought processes going into the 2021 season as to how I approach the quarterback, tight end, running back, wide receiver positions, along with my rankings this upcoming season for, of course, your drafts, check out the Patreon. Of course, there are other various things like the Discord community server, private access that we have for Patreon users. We have, of course, weekly conversations there talking about fantasy football and try to improve our rosters and give ourselves the best chance of winning. So if that's something that you'd like, go check out the Patreon. Do appreciate you guys doing so. And for those of you who have already done so. Had a couple more questions, Patrick. No more donations, guys. You guys don't need to send donations. I'm telling you. But anyway, thank you very much, Patrick. Last one says, okay, it wasn't even a question. It says, thanks for the help, boss. You're the people's champ. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see here. A couple more picks. Jason says 8th pick, 10-team PPR. Who are my first 2 picks? That's such an okay. Look, there's so many variables, Jason. I don't know. Like in a full PPR league at the 8th pick, I'm assuming you can get Devontae Adams there and then wrap it around in a 10-team league and get Austin Eckler in the 2nd round. I swear you probably could. I don't mind that. Let's do it. But if you can't, then you go Kelce there and you wrap it around with Eckler. Brian says smash the like button. Yes, if we can get over 100 likes, guys, that'd be really greatly appreciated. Who are some late round targets that you are looking at, Andrew? CB, that is a great question, and that is for a video for another time. Can't release all the secrets here today. PPR 2nd pick, Cook or Henry? Cook, 100%, not even close. It is close, but Henry doesn't get any PPR upside there. That's the unfortunate factor, and he's not going to be running for 2,000 yards again this year. If he does, then send him to the Hall of Fame. Should I keep Saquon, Taylor, or Tyreek Hill? Depends where you're keeping them, but as of the 3 right now, I'm keeping Tyreek Hill. Because especially if you're trying to win right now. Now, if you're looking for like the future, then you're probably keeping Saquon. But if you're trying to win this year, Tyreek Hill is the guy you keep. What's your strategy with the 11th pick in a full PPR? Double running back. Ertz is a real thorn. Yes, he's going to be a thorn in the side of Dallas Goedert. I agree. He outsnapped Goddard in the preseason. Yes, but a lot of people outsnap each other in the preseason. But yes, they're gonna use double tight end sets. That's a given. I appreciate you guys helping us get over 100 likes. That's very, very kind of you guys. Thoughts on Godwin? He's wide receiver 2 for a few years. Wide receiver 2 overall a few years ago. Yeah, that's a fact. Listen, guys. I'm telling you, almost every question you've asked thus far today has been answered on this channel. maybe once in the videos I've posted, whether it's drafting at the number 2 spot, drafting at 12, on the turn of here. What do I think about this? I'm telling you guys, I'm trying to cover it all. I've talked about a lot of these players. Check out my videos. I'm telling you. But as for Godwin, I think the stats that I talked about him, because I had him in a must-draft wide receivers video this offseason already. Go check out that one. It has Deontay Johnson on the cover. He's a great stud. Chris Godwin, when he was healthy and he was ready to go, because he dealt with a concussion, a hamstring injury, and a broken finger last year, he had to have surgery on. When he was healthy and full go, the guy was averaging 14.5 fantasy points per game. If you can do that for a 16-game basis, you got yourself a very good wide receiver 2 with upside. Maybe a wide receiver 1 low end, assuming that maybe if in fact Godwin gets a little bit more touchdown love and we see less of that touchdown love go in the direction of Mike Evans. Is it crazy to draft Zeke over Kamara? No, I'm going to do it. In specific leagues, I sometimes will. But again, that's just me because I play in so many damn leagues. I have to diversify. Get the Patreon. All this is in there. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, all of the questions you even ask are in the 2021 Fantasy Football Draft Guide. Available now on Patreon for those of you guys who are interested. Again, I do appreciate spending your time with me today. It is 7 o'clock my time. That is my heart out. I appreciate you guys spending your time here today. I'll answer one more question. Let's see here. Should I be skipping a tight end and use it for another wide receiver running back, then pick later in the weeks? Oh man, that is a tough question to answer because there's so much of an explanation behind it. If you don't get a top 3 to 5, maybe 6 stud tight end, yeah, you want to wait. Do not grab those middle range, Noah Fant, Dallas Goedert. Like I'm telling you, you can find a sleeper back in the back end of the draft, pair him with an okay tight end, and you'll be fine. Okay, anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it again. Tomorrow's video will be lit. I promise you that. And until I talk to you guys next time, which will be in the coming weeks, of course, we'll be doing live streams more often. Appreciate you guys. See ya.